God, I've been putting this one off, haven't I? Because you're all so obsessed with bloody Celine. Look, the show was bloody yonks ago. She was old even then, so no, she's no longer with us. But she's in a better place. Look, I'll tell you what happened. But I don't want you flying off the handle in the comments. I've already had Peter on my case back in 2012 when I tweeted that picture of Celine in the microwave with the taste like chicken hashtag. But, that was a funny joke, and I popped her in momentarily and I was using humour. But look, I will take you back to that time and explain what happened with Celine. You'd all remember she was in the wheelchair after the accident. One side revealed that she hadn't died, and everyone was so happy to have her back. But for me, she became a real pain. Look, I'd bought her as a working showbiz dog, and she was a model slash acrobatic circus dog, trained by yours truly. But look, she obviously couldn't do that in the wheelchair. And I spoke to my agent, because we have the same agent, Ronnie from Twos and Fours, Humans and Dogs agency. And I said to Ronnie, let's just lean into this whole disability thing. I thought, look, this is a niche that she can fill. There's not a lot of dogs in wheelchairs with agents with a showbiz background like Celine. So I thought she'd be a shoe-in for ads, or movies, or, even like a dog wheelchair medical brochure or something. And, I thought I'm going to make a killing with this. I went to school with a thalidomide kid that was in a Smarties ad, and that was, before diversity casting was even a thing. But no, the work for Celine just wouldn't come. And also I just became sick of having to squeeze her to get her to go to the toilet, and sleeping next to a dog wheelchair is driving me scatty. I kept whacking my shins into the spokes of the wheelchair in the middle of the night, and, bloody killed. She seemed perfectly fine and happy, but I just think the lack of work and, that would have been a confidence hit, and she would have, maybe thought that her life wasn't worth living. So I would often leave the front gate, open, praying that she'd run out one night and get lost and never, come back. But she never did. I did back down the driveway quite fast sometimes, when she was wandering around the front, praying I'd hear a terrible crunch of a dog wheelchair and her final squeal. But no such luck. She was too quick and always scuttling out of the way. Then she started to go downhill in that last year. She gained a bit of face weight, and she got the tumour on the end of the tail, and, we had to have half a tail chopped off, and she was getting stared at by children in shopping centres, and, that wasn't a good look for me. Then, look, it all went down when Mum and I went to Noosa and had Celine in the boarding kennels back in Sydney, and, I told them she was not for resuscitation as a joke, and but then I gave them a little wink. Then, yes, we got the terrible call that Celine had passed during the night, cardiac arrest. Mum howled and when she heard, and woke up all of Hastings Street. So, yeah, Celine died of missing me. Boarding kennels said it was, in the middle of the night, and she let out a loud bark and just dropped dead. And I said, did the bark sound like Mr. G at all? And they thought I was joking, but I was serious. And I'd like to believe that in dog language, at least, she definitely could have called out my name.